We released Terror Storm, A History of Government-Sponsored Terror, in July of 2006. And since then, in just 1 year, it's received more than 7 million views on Google and YouTube alone. We're now releasing Terror Storm 2nd edition with more than 17 minutes of added, powerful information documenting government-sponsored terror. My friends, if you'd like to get a DVD of Terror Storm and support the filmmakers, visit Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com, or you can also go to PrisonPlanet.tv and download a higher quality version. But whatever you do, please spread this free video to everybody you can so that they can wake up to the fact that the New World Order is real and is attacking the people. God bless you. Here is Terror Storm, 2nd edition.
Our leaders have told us that the war on terror may last 100 years. The new kind of war against a shadowy enemy that can never be defeated.
Either you are with us, or you are with the terrorists.
Generation after generation will have to lay down its liberty in an endless war for global empire.
It was a breathtaking display of firepower.
And the Pentagon says we isn't covered yet.
The perfect specter to convince populations to relinquish their liberty in the name of security.
There is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction. There is no doubt that he is amassing them to use against our friends, against our allies, and against us.
And if he does not disarm, the United States of America will lead a coalition and disarm him in the name of peace.
We've been told that we're facing a 100-year war that will last generation after generation. In this film, we will explore who pulls the strings and who benefits from the dark spectacle of modern warfare. We will answer the question, do the people know how they are controlled? Do they understand the systems of power that surround them? The modern propaganda machines of public relations that wash their brains and fill their minds full of ball games and mindless fluff? Is the population beginning to realize that governments throughout history have used the specter of fear to drive their populations into acquiescing to total tyranny? September 11th, national ID cards, Big Brother, the Iraq War, the 7/7 bombings in London, the invasion of Iran. How are they all interconnected? In previous films, we have focused predominantly on September 11th as the foundational event, the pretext for the current geopolitical structure.
The smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull. And then we watched the building collapse.
National polls show that most Americans and Westerners believe the official story of 9/11 to be a fraud. And a large part of that majority believes that 9/11 was an inside job. But the establishment press continues to contest any alternative view concerning 9/11. In this documentary, we will first look at historical events that are not contested. Events where the fact of government-sponsored terror is not debated, but in fact openly admitted to by Western governments. There are literally hundreds of examples of government-sponsored terrorism in modern history, or what are known as false flag operations. We're going to start by looking at just 5 past examples, then we'll look at several modern cases. What is a false flag? The encyclopedia definition reads, false flag operations are covert operations conducted by governments, corporations, or by other organizations which are designed to appear as if they were carried out by other entities. The name is derived from the military concept of flying false colors, that is, flying the flag of a country other than your own. There are many variants of false flag operations, but one of the most popular carried out by governments is to stage a terror attack or horrible criminal incident and then blame it on your political enemies. One of the best-known cases of a false flag op was carried out by the newly elected Adolf Hitler on February 27, 1933. Nazi documents uncovered at the end of World War II, as well as testimony during the Nuremberg trials, revealed what many historians already suspected, that Hermann Goering had set fire to the Reichstag, the German parliament building. The Nazis then produced their patsy, Marinus van der Lubbe, an extremely mentally handicapped young man who was found rolling around in an alley behind the Reichstag naked. Van der Lubbe was then taken before a Nazi show trial, found guilty, and sentenced to death. He was beheaded on January 10, 1934. Using the crisis he had created to pass laws similar to the USA Patriot Act, Hitler became dictator and set his sights on the world. By March of 1939, Hitler had already seized Czechoslovakia. Having gained both Austria and Czechoslovakia, Hitler desired to move east against Poland. But he did not want to look like the aggressor. Hitler needed an excuse for attacking Poland. It was Heinrich Himmler who came up with a plan. Thus, the operation was codenamed Operation Himmler. On the night of August 31st, 1939, the Germans took an unknown prisoner from one of the concentration camps, dressed him in a Polish uniform, took him to the town of Gleiwitz on the German-Polish border, and then shot him. The staged scene with the dead prisoner dressed in a Polish uniform was supposed to appear as a Polish attack against the German radio station. German radio, newspapers, and newsreels were flooded with images of what appeared to be a dead Polish soldier who had dared attack the Reich. Now Hitler had his excuse to invade Poland, and the nightmare of World War II had begun. In 1953, the Central Intelligence Agency, working in tandem with MI6, overthrew the democratically elected leader of Iran, Dr. Mohammad Mossadegh. Mossadegh had been educated in the West, was pro-America, and had driven communist forces out of the north of his country shortly after being elected in 1951. Mossadegh then nationalized the oil fields and denied British Petroleum a monopoly. The CIA's own history department at CIA.gov details how U.S. and British intelligence agents carried out terror attacks and then subsequently blamed them on Mossadegh. In the late 1990s, large sections of Operation Ajax were declassified. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our government. We are governed, our minds are molded, our taste formed, our ideas suggested, largely by men we have never heard of. Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels publicly praised Bernays on many occasions and stated that Bernays' work was the blueprint used by the Nazis to seize control of the Reich. Edward Bernays advanced the science of propaganda light years. But more than 60 years after his heyday, the science of mind control is thousands of times more sophisticated than even Bernays had envisioned. Since the dawn of man, bullies have attempted to dominate and control the tribe. Human history has been one long struggle of the independent free human against organized crime syndicates attempting to enslave him. Brute force has been replaced with intimidation and propaganda. We are manipulated into enslaving ourselves. We are conned into believing that the establishment is our loving keeper and not our parasitic master. The New World Order architects are a group of predatory control freaks who have enslaved humanity and are desperate to keep control of their cattle. The elite is threatened by independent free humans who control their own destinies. They're threatened by intelligence, by beauty, by honor, by family. They seek to control and steer the destiny of humanity in a direction that secures their power monopoly forever. They are sadistic. They are callous. They think nothing of human life, only control and keeping that control. The entire world is being engineered, designed to be a prison planet, a control grid over free humanity, where no dissent is tolerated. Once you realize that the establishment is laughing at you, you can begin to research the truth and start fighting back. Once you understand their game plan, it's very easy to defeat. Knowing who your enemy is half the battle. Taking action is the other half.
We released Terror Storm, A History of Government-Sponsored Terror, in July of 2006. And since then, in just 1 year, it's received more than 7 million views on Google and YouTube alone. We're now releasing Terror Storm 2nd Edition with more than 17 minutes of added, powerful information documenting government-sponsored terror. My friends, if you'd like to get a DVD of Terror Storm and support the filmmakers, visit Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com, or you can also go to PrisonPlanet.tv and download a higher quality version. But whatever you do, please spread this free video to everybody you can so that they can wake up to the fact that the New World Order is real and is attacking the people. God bless you. Terror Storm, 2nd Edition.
Hey guys, get your cameras on. Yeah, what's going on? I've almost been arrested 3 times every day, anywhere in the city, videotaping anything. It is an absolute nightmare.
We're looking for patriots that know what the Bill of Rights and Constitution says, and that can see all of this and know that it's a fraud.
4 planes in 2 hours! How can that be?
A cop on 9/11 said that it was going to come down. I don't know how he knew that.
On the morning of 9/11, the CIA was running a drill of flying hijacked jets into the World Trade Center and Pentagon. Building 7 is further away from the towers and was not hit by planes. So if your building's owned by Larry Silverstein, it collapses because he's got a big fat insurance policy. And the Project for New American Century said that we need a terrorist attack on the Order of Pearl Harbor to get the American people behind a war.
Prescott Bush, he did a number of things that were not only anti-American, but were pro-Hitler.
A lot of people aren't going to know what Skull of... I don't really know what it is.
Why don't you talk about NORAD standing down, Michael? Why not the really hardcore 9/11 issues?
Thank you, and goodbye.
The ritual?
That's none of your damn business.
We're talking about the Bohemian Grove and trying to see what locals think about it.
You're talking about the Bohemian Grove, quote-unquote elite and presidential retreat.
I can't even begin to imagine what we're going to discover when I infiltrate tomorrow.
What about the rituals? Have you heard anything about the rituals that go on?
Oh, there's all kinds of rumors about rituals. Oh, no. it's politicians.
And now we're going to infiltrate.
I think we should go and see what we can see.
Do you worry for Alex, Violet?
I do. Alex gets so impassioned by what he's doing that sometimes I'm afraid that he might be a little too fearless.
While we're inside the Bohemian Grove.
Citizens on Earth sets us free.